So I assume that also there is something unique depending on which character you're playing in the game. Does Quark have a unique ability? Does Ratchet?
Yeah, everybody's got special abilities, and everybody's got a different kind of melee attack for sure. Ratchet's got his Omni Wrench, just like you'd expect.
Right.
Clank uses Clank Fu. Quark uses his Fists of Justice, and Dr. Nefarious uses his Annihilator Blades.
Now, obviously, we're familiar with how Ratchet controls, and to some extent how Clank controls. But Quark, I mean, he's a big green buffoon. How does he handle?
Yeah, well...
Oh, whoops.
Oh.
That could not have been timed out any better.
Bloody well, not very.
It's all right.
So I have to win this, so don't mind me. There we go. So yeah, we're working together to do things like we just charged up a cluster cannon. But at the same time, you want to be the person to do it the best and be the first person.
Because there is reward for being
Oh
superior.
yeah, absolutely. There are bragging rights and other in-game rewards as well.
So we've demoed this a lot of times to press, and we get really competitive over that.
Yeah, I think right there also kind of demonstrated that you guys are also, these are very big levels. I think there's a tradition that when you think, oh, it's a co-op game, that somehow there's corner cutting and that things have been smaller. But I mean, those are the things that you've been building from Ratchet to Ratchet, seem to be present inside of the game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's kind of how we see our unique place. I mean, we want to have a co-op game that's about working together, but at the same time, we want it to be something where people play through it to experience the story and to experience the big planets that we're making.
I think I might want to point out, you don't have to play it just with 4 people. You can play with 2 people. You can play it all by yourself.
Absolutely. We support any player configuration from 1 to 4 players. And really kind of our design manifesto is to make it easy for people to just pick up a controller, jump into a game, and have fun. So we support offline. You can play together on the couch. We support online, and we support any combination of the two.
How that's physically possible, I would love to know. Don't say, yeah, it's Clank up there. That's oh.
We've got some what's this over here?
Now, actually, Clank, we have played him in other Ratchet games before, but we've never really seen him as kind of an offensive character. He tends to fall into the puzzle segments of the game. What does he do now? It looks like he carries weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was a super weapon initially, so we think it makes a lot of sense for him to be just a powerful little powerhouse of weaponry and Clank Fu moves and everything else. We didn't want him to feel too small or underpowered at all in this group.
And Dr. Nefarious, what's unique about him and how you control him in the game?
Sure. Well, he's an evil criminal mastermind. He has Annihilator blades. Everything about him tends to be about poison and pure evil and dark forces. Yeah. So this thing that we're doing right here is called a mortar slam. We can actually pull it off.
For now.
Clank.
Do it. Okay, Nefarious. There you go.
It looks like there one player is trying to throw one character into the Porter Slam, is that what you call it?
Yeah, it's the mortar slam.
Mortar
so,
slam.
Yeah, one thing that we were kind of fascinated by since the very earliest brainstorming sessions was this idea of throwing another player into battle. And that evolved into, well, let's throw them into battle and then let them execute a special move if they're at the apex of their jump. So it's really trying to get down to just the core of people working together to do something that looks really great when you can pull it off.
And it looks like that the other 2 characters in that moment were kind of running out, they're on the offensive kind of just protect that act, throwing someone into them.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to trust your teammate, which is nearly impossible sometimes with these people.
Now, another thing that's obvious for anyone who's played a Ratchet game is that the camera is in a different position. It used to always, it was kind of behind the shoulder with Ratchet. Obviously, for obvious reasons that you're not doing that. But
right.
What has that opened up in terms of how you can present the game and that how the game controls?
Yeah. This is a director's type camera, so we do control what it's looking at. But it also works really hard to keep all 4 players on screen at the same time. And this is something we've talked about for a long time. We love the ability to kind of frame the action in a specific way, and it lets us create really cinematic visuals that kind of lead right into the story moment without any kind of pause whatsoever.
So I would assume that with the camera in this position, you can't have the same kind of straight mechanics that you do in the pure single player.
Yeah,
Ratchet games.
it's definitely not an over-the-shoulder shooter type
Right.
camera, and we've had to make some adjustments for that for sure. But we kind of started with that because we thought the core experience of getting everybody looking at one screen and kind of experiencing the same thing together was worth a lot of other things that we needed to do to make that work.
And so, how do you sort of adjust so that so that your character can aim or target on certain objects or enemies in the game?
Right, we have a couple things. We have a little bit of assist for it, although it does a great job of detecting where you're pointing. We also give you a lock on, so you can lock in straight when you need to do that. But really, I mean, the main thing to say about it is that it's a really good system kind of working behind the scenes to make sure that we're aiming where we want to.
I love Cork's gait. The shoulders going back and forth.
Sad. Having sadness. Yeah, we want Quark to feel like a tank for sure. He's giant, he's just a big space heater.
So would we consider this a boss battle, or is this just sort of a mid-level?
We think of this as just a really big enemy. We like these enemies that kind of focus the player's attention on one thing.
I think this actually is a good moment to kind of see, like, we are dealing with a variety of weapons as we would get in any type of Ratchet game. It's the idea that with all 4 players, you would all use the same one at the same time.
That is really our focus, and that's not to say that we don't have some special abilities, but this is a game that really is about coordinating weapon use with the team. So we put a lot of our effort into weapons that feel really great to use with other players.
That must have been interesting to actually go through the development of the weapons because you have to consider the cooperative nature.
It's been a fun new challenge for us. After working on so many of these games and making so many weapons, it was really great to have this new cool thing to sink our teeth into. And we've had more ideas than we know what to do with.
Now, are all the weapons brand new, or are we going to see some of the classics return?
I'm not allowed to tell you that right now. I'm very sorry.
When the magic day comes. Now, has the graphical engine made any changes since Crack in Time? This does look even better.
Yeah, we've had a variety of upgrades, some of which have been made possible just by our tech evolving, and some are things that we can do because of this new camera type. So, we have things like screen space ambient occlusion going on. We have a lot of new post processes. This is, really is the next evolution of Insomniac's engine that we're seeing here.
There's a lot of cooperation that seems to be required after this sequence.
Yeah, we frequently die here, even still. It's semi-miraculous that we're making it this far. Wow, nice.
All right, round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys finally figured out how to play.
Though Chad probably died more than that than the rest of us combined.
So obviously,
It's sad, but
if both are still in the game, then obviously the currency that's run all of the Ratchet games is still there. What are you using the bulk on? Are you still buying weapons with them?
yeah, I mean, there's still the foundation of the economy. So, think weapons, upgrades, other cool things. Thanks.
I'm ready.
TJ, any idea how many of these just aimed? Oh, something about to happen.
It's my favorite part.
Now, move towards the fan. All together now! Move!
All together now.
Yeah, this thing's called the wind turbine for obvious reasons. Every time we tweak this a little bit, we think that's something that people can do, and then we practice it over and over, and we still have some trouble with it. It's really quite tough to coordinate even this.
Are all 4 of you trying to land on your own respective circle?
Yeah, right now we're trying to hold hands and stay together, so we can have enough wind resistance to move up this thing. And all it takes is one person who's a little bit twitchy, such as James Stevenson.
I have too much caffeine every day.
TJ, I was going to ask you, do you have any idea how much of those little just kind of one-liners they're saying during the game you have written or will be writing over the course of development?
I would venture to say that it'll be well over 2,000.
Wow.
A crack in time, we had, I want to say I wrote 10,000 lines, and I think that this one will have not maybe not that much, but definitely a lot.
You set a goal for yourself, like, today I'll write 1,000 lines of dialogue.
No, I don't see the goal. I just sort of, I work with the designers to find out exactly what's going on in that level, and I just, keep writing and writing. Then we record, see what works, and drop it in, and then cut what doesn't. And it's a pretty iterative process, but the result is pretty cool because it gives all these characters heart and personality.
Now, what are the added challenges since you can play with 1, 2, 3, or 4 characters for you to kind of write the story, so it all kind of ties together, no matter how many people are playing?
Yeah, sure. Well, the biggest challenge is that since, like Chad was saying, there could be any combination of players on, try to find, write different kinds of conversations depending on which characters are going to be on screen. Like we know that we want Quark and Nefarious, they've got a bicker. Clank and Ratchet should be working together. Ratchet's the leader, so if he's around, he should be leading everything. So it's definitely just writing like a lot of different versions of a lot of different situations, just to make sure that people can still get that personality regardless of who they're playing with.
I'm just curious, throughout the games, have you ever kind of made the excuse in your head why Nefarious has never really identified Ratchet and Clank as the larger problem to his evil deeds than Quark, who he seems to be so maniacally obsessed with?
Yeah, it's funny because it's so true. It's like he should be concerned with Ratchet and Clank more than Nefarious, but you just can't ask for logic with Nefarious. He's just so crazy that anything he says goes.
If he ever was logical, yeah.
And plus, Quark was his bully back in high school, so he's always got a spot in his heart that he hates Quark.
So I think we'll be in chat for a second. Also, you guys are all playing this here together, but you can also be playing this online, and it's drop in, drop out co-op.
Yes. Absolutely, that's our thing. We want to make it really easy for people to jump into games and just have a great time with it. So, I could be here, other people could be far away, or any combination of that.
So it could be 2 on one couch and then 2, off somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in terms of weapon switching in the game, we've always been so accustomed to just hitting that triangle button, game pauses for a second, you select. I don't see how that can be done in the course of a co-op game. So how's that going to be implemented?
That's one of those things that we have to look at and streamline a little bit. It's true that you don't want to wait for your friend while they're selecting a weapon or while they're at a vendor. So we've done a lot to streamline those things. But, at the same time, we realize that those things are kind of a crucial part of the DNA of the series, so we have to account for them as well.
And you're still tinkering around with ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is the first world exclusive public demo of Ratchet & Clank All for One.
Thank you very much, guys. That was, I think it's safe to say, quite impressive. Is there anything more you would like to say before we open up to questions from the audience here?
I think we might have a trailer to show.
Oh, there's a trailer.
Yeah.
Look at that. A double treat. Trailer.
Joining us via satellite are Ratchet and Clank, the heroes who defeated Dr. Nefarious over 2 years ago.
It's time to go back to the way things were, Leave the hero stuff to the other guys.
Like Galactic President Quark. President Quark? She was taking a memo.
Yeah. Or anyone else.